All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, your money, your vote. From now until the November election, we're going to be focusing on key races around the country. In Tennessee, the contest for Majority Leader Bill Frist's Senate seat is neck and neck. This race could decide the whole Senate outcome. It's Democrat Harold Ford versus Republican challenger Bob Corker. Both are here tonight. First up, House member Harold Ford. Mr. Ford, it's good to see you again. You know, I've been looking through all the press clips. It's very interesting. Republican House member from Tennessee, Zach Wamp. He says you are a pseudo-celebrity. Now, I thought all this time you were a real celebrity.
I'm a candidate for the U.S. Senate trying to make government work again for everybody in my state is what I am. And it's interesting. I'm glad to hear that my opponent will come on after I come on. I've not been able to find him in the state to challenge him or to stand before the voters and to talk about all of the issues we're dealing with here, and I look forward to talking about tax cuts and fiscal policy and national security and even health care policy with him when he's ready to debate those things.
Well, I'm going to get down to some specifics on that, but I want to ask you another one from the news clips, again, down in Tennessee and all the newspapers. A lot of Republicans in general are calling you a liberal. So I want to ask you, Mr. Ford, are you now or have you ever been a liberal?
You know me and have known me well enough. It's unfortunate that some of my friends at home and some of my friends here in Washington who really have no real viable record to defend and no serious vision to fight for want to engage in name calling. I've voted for more than $1.5 trillion worth of tax cuts here in the Congress. They know that I'm a believer that the Ten Commandments ought to be displayed publicly. They know as well as I do that I'm not for abortion on demand. They know as well as I do that I've supported our president every step of the way when he's been right on national security, and I've opposed him when I thought he was wrong. And I will continue to do that if the voters give me this unique chance to represent them in the Senate.
Did you vote for a ban on flag burning?
I did. I think there's some symbols that are so important and are so outside of the scope of speech in some ways. And I tell you, I didn't have this opinion all the time. Didn't have it during my race for the Congress, but I visited a military base and I visited a veterans hall and I listened. And it struck me what this flag means. It's something more than a symbol. And it may take another show for us to get through all of this, but I'm unapologetic about that position. I think there's some things that...
We've only got one show, but Harold, I want to get you on the record again. You mentioned tax cuts before.
Yes, sir.
Income tax cuts, investor tax cuts on cap gains and dividends. How did you vote when they first came up, and would you vote to make them permanent?
You know, I voted yes when they first came up. You know, I voted to make them permanent. I've been on with you a few times with some of our other guests and even my friend Paul Ryan talking about it. I voted in favor of the estate tax reduction that came through the Congress. I even voted for the elimination of it prior times. I voted for college tax credits. I voted for the extension of research tax credits. Again, since I've been in the Congress, I've voted for a little over $1.5 trillion worth of tax cuts. And I think even the home newspaper of my opponent noted some 7 years ago that I voted, or 6 years ago, I voted for the biggest tax cut the country had ever seen since 1981. I think what we're finding here is that it's unfortunate that we really can't have a serious debate about the issues because my friends back and some of my friends back in Tennessee are so opposed to me that they just want to lie on my record. I think we had to talk about overhauling and simplifying the tax code. I think we got to get serious about, I listened to some of your previous speakers and previous guests. I think this economy is growing. The challenge we face is how do we let it grow and make it grow for everyone and include everyone in this incredible thing called American prosperity and dynamism. That's what government has, I think, to focus on even more than we have in the past few years. And I'm hopeful that my approach to politics, and I think you've known me for a little while, Mr. Cutlow, the only thing I'm interested in is solving problems. I take on Democrats when they're wrong, and I side with Republicans when they're right.
All right, let me just get, if I can, some brief answers. I'm sorry,
Sure.
Time is never long enough. But first of all, the issues of CIA interrogation and the related issue of NSA warrantless wiretapping, where are you on those issues?
I hope that we can pass a military tribunal commission, as President Bush wants, that is respectful of rights. As you know, John McCain is opposed because he says one day our kids may be captured by the Iranians, and we certainly want them to be treated right. And when it comes to wiretapping, I think the president ought to keep doing what he's doing.
Are you with McCain? Are you with McCain or with the president on the CIA interrogations?
Well, I want a resolution. Congress shouldn't leave until we work through this. The president, as you know, wants the Geneva Convention only to apply to serious violations. We got to define what that means. We should stay here and not leave until we get it done.
Not leave until we get it done, but how do you want to see it get done? I appreciate that you want to get it done, but do you think that the McCain amendments, which don't look like they're going to pass, do you think that's going to bow under to a Bush? Bill Frist told us last night, Frist absolutely wants to get something like the Bush bill passed. Where would you be on it?
I'm closer to where President Bush is on this.
All right, that's what I wanted to know. I appreciate it very much. Harold,
as I am on wiretapping as well.
Okay, you're in favor of the NSA warrantless wiretapping.
Yeah, I think we can. Now, if the court's going to decide here in the next few weeks that if the president's engaged in some acts that are unconstitutional, Congress should fix it. But I hope the president takes every step to defend me and everybody in my great state.
And the last one, Mr. Harold, God, I can't, it's so great, Harold Ford. Harold, where are you going to be on Iraq? I saw somewhere you want to divide it up into 3 parts. That doesn't really seem to be a realistic option on the table. The issue is kind of like, do we stay in Iraq until the job is done, or do we leave at a date certain? Where are you on that, Harold?
I don't think we leave at a date certain, but I'm opposed to staying the course as we have. I think decentralizing it, dividing the 3 semi-autonomous regions will help unify the country. I've been there for a while. I've been to Iraq 5 times, and we'll go back before this election.
Do you expect to win?
Absolutely.
Are you optimistic?
I feel good, and God is in the blessing business, and voters want something different. I think they see this campaign as representing that.
Harold Ford, thank you very much. As always, up next, we're going to go one-on-one with Bob Corker, Mr. Ford's Republican opponent, who wants to keep that Senate seat in the hands of the GOP. Tomorrow evening, by the way, Devon Energy CEO Larry Nichols is going to give me his take on energy prices, the new find in the Gulf of Mexico, and peak oil theorists who warn that production is going to dry up, but they are dead wrong. That's tomorrow night at our special time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Keep it tuned. Kudlow and company. We're coming straight back for the other side of our Tennessee Senate debate.